It's no longer a surprise. I am live from Las Vegas Reid International Airport. Welcome into the broadcast today. It is Pip on location. Look at all that plane spotting goodness. We are high atop Las Vegas Reid International Airport, and I am pleased to be with you today, just as we were in Phoenix. Thanks for joining in. Let us know how the audio and the video is. We'll move slow here so that we don't freeze up the connection too much, but we're doing a slow pan across the field. And I know I didn't do a video this morning because I was so busy trying to make everything work and doing a couple different things. So regardless, sorry I left you in the dark, pun intended, last night and didn't say anything this morning. But here we are live at Las Vegas Reid International Airport, formerly called McCarran International, but renamed after the late Senator Harry Reid. 5x5, Indy Firemen, thank you so much for the 5x5. And what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the report. And I'm really excited to be here. Las Vegas is like one of my favorites. And the other thing is, it's not too far a drive or flight. I drove up from Phoenix to here yesterday. So, yeah, it's been great. So, look forward to having you the next 2 hours and having some fun. I am on top, high atop McCarran. Or see, I even called it McCarran. It's now Reid. But you knew it was going to be Vegas. I kind of figured, yeah. But I still wanted to keep it a surprise. I mean, some people, it could have been Tucson. So, Tucson or maybe Albuquerque, or maybe I would have driven to San Diego. So, very cool, man. Born in Las Vegas. This is definitely a happening city. When you were born there, I'm sure there was no Las Vegas Raiders and there was no Vegas Knights. But now we've got a hockey team and a NFL team. Word is on the street, the NBA is going to try and come here. So it is definitely a happening place. And I think they're holding the Final Four here this year for the NCAA tournament. And Las Vegas is just a great place to be, especially the airport. There's a lot of good visibility for plane spotting at different areas. And I kind of picked this one because it's the safest as far as visibility. And I was going to do, there's a parking, yeah, and the Super Bowl, exactly right, Eskier. And there is Breeze on their A220, Eskier, one of your personal favorites and mine. In a little bit delayed from Bradley on the East Coast, just outside of Hartford. But there they are. I think Breeze also recently added a couple of routes from Portland, Maine. So that's pretty cool. Yep, you're exactly right, Indy Firemen. Allegiant does have their headquarters and their OCC here. Absolutely. Yep, I know Breeze is hiring. Allegiant's hiring. Frontier's hiring. You get there. You go. You got Flair Airlines from Canada, and who else was hiring that I saw recently? Well, anyways, they Breeze, and I know Frontier, Allegiant, also Southwest is supposed to hire in a couple months. SkyWest, of course, Envoy will be in the spring for their classes. They usually take like 5 or 6. So a lot going on. But I know I have a few friends at Breeze, and they really need dispatchers because they're growing so rapidly. It's a situation where the fifth floor higher ups give all the routes, and then the IOCC is just left to cope with it. So it's it can be a challenge sometimes. But in the meantime, inbound we've got NetJets from Telluride, a Citation Sovereign, and then we've got Amazon, a 737 Prime Air inbound, Phoenix to Las Vegas, Southwest 1002, Frontier 1105 from Orlando in the next 10 minutes. One of the cool things about Las Vegas is if you get a chance to fly and you're coming in from the east, Salt Lake is definitely expensive. I agree. And me just being a student, absolutely. But one of the things I was saying is when you fly into Las Vegas, you'll go right over the Hoover Dam. So if you got good visibility, you will fly over the Hoover Dam, which is a pretty cool thing. And yesterday, as far as the weather goes, it was super windy. So I'm glad we didn't broadcast yesterday because it was super windy and super cold. Now the wind's a little bit lighter. They were actually doing arrivals on the ones, which doesn't happen too often. So that was interesting to check out. And I actually have a few videos I'll post. Typically, a dispatcher, so at Breeze, since they're a startup, they don't have as many flights. So it can vary. It is usually, probably for Breeze about 20 a day per shift. They just hit over the 100 flight mark of daily flights on their peak days. Then when I was at Envoy, though, we were like 50 flights a day. And we could handle that because technology we had was basically American Airlines, since American owns Envoy. So it was super easy to work and keep up with things. So Breeze doesn't have the equipment yet and the money, I guess, to spend on what they really should have, in my opinion. And yeah, Infidel Fireman, it certainly does depend on when the shift is. Typically, the overnight shift is the lightest, and then night shift is. See, it's different too, because when you start out in the morning, you have your morning dispatchers will come in a lot of times at 2:30, 3 a.m. before the first flights of the day, and then it's a matter of getting all those flights done. But then when the second shift comes over, you have to take over the morning dispatcher's flights, and then you still have to plan the flights that are in your bank. So it's a little bit lighter typically on the afternoon, but then you have to deal with all the flight turnover. So it's a different challenge. A good question. I am Pip, broadcasting live. If you enjoy the feed and like what you see, make sure you give that sucker an old thumbs up, and we can have some fun and expand and grow and go to more airports. There's that Prime Air 737-700. Thanks for the like there. You guys are the best. Some of my favorites: Tools, S Gear, Infidel Fireman, and met Singularity and NextJet. So that was cool. I just have to be careful today with the sun because it is kind of bright. So I don't want to just be careful. um, yeah, if you're on the East Coast, if we do the kickoff flights on the East Coast, then yeah, Jacksonville Center sometimes, but the volume is so light in the mornings. If you get the first flights of the day, it's not too bad. Usually, when they'll do like a FCA or a flow constrained area, will be in the afternoon or mid morning when more of the peak flights are done on the East Coast. So, and so that's a little bit different. Good question, though. This is actually my first time broadcasting from the parking garage. There's, like I said, a lot of good sight lines, and I've done two videos from Las Vegas, and so you can shoot from different areas. So I'd highly encourage you guys, if you're in Vegas, to come check it out. Parking garage obviously costs money, so that's I'm on the short term, which is like $3 an hour. But there's a parking, and I'll show you in a second. I think we've got an Allegiant flight inbound here. As I look through my viewfinder, let's see what it is. Yeah, it's a A320, Frontier A320. So they have a base here in Las Vegas, trying to go battle with Spirit that already is entrenched here and has a base. And of course, Southwest has a big base here. So welcome to those passengers to Las Vegas, the city of lights. Missed the Korean Air yesterday because I was over on the other side. Let me show you where I was parked. Typically, because the arrivals will come on runway 26 left. So behind the tower there is just a little parking spot. Let's just call it right there, that you can actually park and watch the planes fly by, which is really cool. And let's see if I can get the where it's at. Okay, right there. So you can see in the foreground right there, that's where the cars are parked. It's along Sunset Road. And so you see those cars parked there as that Air Canada Rouge flies by. But wanted to point that out because you can just park there and watch them, and they're right in front of you. And I thought about broadcasting there. Problem is, I didn't have a ladder. I have a little step ladder, but I didn't have a ladder big enough that could shoot over the fence. So I wanted someplace that had clear visibility. But that's one of the great places you can go to Planespot, is that parking garage right along Sunset Road in Las Vegas if you haven't been here. So fun little fact for you. Your international carriers in Las Vegas are wide and varied. Yeah, absolutely. Indy Fireman, thank you for doing that. I'm glad to help as much as I can. And I was trying to get one of my buddies, Brett, who actually works down here in Las Vegas for an airline, to come down. But he, unfortunately, he's also taking care of his mom, who's recovering from surgery. So if Brett's watching and tuning in, we wish speedy recovery. But he's a good man, taking care of it. But yeah, absolutely. Whatever we can do to help, and I'll bring more people along as I'm able. Um, and the Oyo Hotel. So I thought about. I have a friend. I stayed at their house last night, my buddy, um, And I had thought about staying at the MGM Grand because that, like you said, Esquira also has good visibility of the airport. But when your friend offers you free lodging and rent for free, can't go wrong with that. So, and I was mentioning the international carriers, and we'll talk about them in a second. But we've got that private jet, looks like a Cessna inbound. But the international carriers here range from Korean Air to Volaris to Viva Aerobus from Mexico, also KLM, British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, seasonal flights from Edelweiss from Switzerland, and also Condor. And then Canada Jetlines, I was really hoping they would do their inaugural flight during the day, but it's actually going to be tonight, and it's supposed to arrive at 9:50 tonight, so it won't be able to even see it really. But Canada Jetlines just started flying here, then Swoop from Canada, Flair from Canada, WestJet, of course, and then Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge. So Las Vegas. Oh, and I forgot Aeromexico too from Mexico. So there's a lot of international flights because people, of course, like to party here in Las Vegas. So, which I'm sure if you've been to Vegas, I'm not much of a gambler, but I know everybody else will fly in for the weekend. In fact, it's a Thursday, so people may have already started taking an early weekend. Oh, and you know what? The other thing is they're probably taking a longer weekend because in the United States here, we've got President's Day. For a lot of people, that's a day off. So, in fact, when I was walking through the airport this morning just to get a vibe, it was very busy at 9:30. Got an older Dassault there. And we pan back to the west. The arrivals keep coming. Yeah, so they do infidel firemen as far as like they have reciprocal jump seat agreements. So we could when I was dispatching, we could fly with UPS and FedEx domestically in the jump seat, and then for dispatchers, and then conversely, if FedEx or UPS dispatcher or pilot needed to fly with us in the jump seat, they had that privilege as well. So in the airline world, for like pilots and dispatchers, a lot of airlines have reciprocal agreements, so you can sit in the jump seat if needed, and vice versa. They work together to get them on your jump seat, so vice versa. So we try and work together. We're obviously competitive, but I will tell you, every experience that I've had with a pilot or dispatcher for any airline that I've jump seated on, and vice versa, they're all polite, they're all respectful, and they're usually very accommodating. 9 times out of 10, the pilots are super nice and not too picky, but then you'll get once in a while some pilots that want specific, and it's at the discretion of the captain because it is his plane. So they may want you to wear a tie, which is fine. It's their plane. I don't really care. It's their plane. I just want to get home. So a lot of times, there's that. So I hope that answers the question. It just depends on the company. So sometimes it's a lot of fun to fly cargo because you get to fly the bigger jets, right? So like the 757s, the the 767s, even the of course 747 if you're flying out of select locations like Ontario, California, or Louisville for UPS. FedEx doesn't have that, but they've got the MD-11s. That's Gear's favorite plane that I stayed late for on Tuesday. You're welcome, by the way. But overall, yeah, there's the cargo airlines work well with the commercial, passenger airlines and vice versa. It's just about respect and understanding. Some airlines can be, for example, super picky, but overall, I would say it's a pretty cool working relationship, and we're all respectful of each other, and we all understand the responsibilities of each other. So I'm really grateful for that. That's a good working relationship. So if you're just joining in, it is Pip Planespotting live on location on remote, broadcasting live from Las Vegas Reid International Airport. Surprise! Glad you could join us. I'll be broadcasting till 1 p.m. today. So for another hour and a half or so. And I'm zooming in right now on the special 757 that United has. That's got a special livery that's one of my personal favorites. So looks like it's going to be taxiing right by us and right by the tower. So we'll get a better view of that. In the meantime, we can also take a look at the arrivals, see what we've got in the next little while. We got Southwest 2136 from Dallas on a 737-8, Spirit 3166 from Miami on an A320neo. And right now, that looks like the only two arrivals inbound. But Las Vegas tends to be pretty busy, so you'll see a lot of action. As you can see, it's really spread out across the terminal. So let's take a full zoom back. So if you look in the left hand right there, is that Southwest is inbound. There you can see the ATC control tower. I think it's one of the top 5 tallest towers in the United States. So, and it was built probably within the last 10 years, I want to say. And so I can't remember the terminals. So that's, excuse me, those are terminals 3 and 4. So if I go a little bit to the left, there's another terminal right there that you can see where Aeromexico and Frontier are. So that's terminal 4. And this one is terminal 3, where American and United and the legacy carriers are. And then you have to ride a tram from the terminal out to 3 and 4. So that's something a little bit different. And then if we go to the right, you'll see terminals 1 and 2, which are home of it's the California Dreamin' livery. So we'll get that and we'll clear it up as soon as they start to taxi towards us. But as you can see here, Southwest has Terminal 1, also Allegiant and Spirit. So there's 4 terminals. But Southwest basically is on Terminal 1 and 2, Spirit, Allegiant, and those are the main ones in 1 and 2. To give you a little background on Las Vegas. They've already talked about building another airport, by the way, here in Las Vegas. It's gotten so busy. I know they hit recently for 2022, hit over 50 million passengers. So they are quickly growing. So let's zoom in on that United if we can. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better, Askier and everyone else. It's pretty sharp. It's that California Dreamin' one. On the 757-300. I would put that on my list as favorite planes go too. So you don't see them anymore, but it's a beast for performance and is just a classic great plane. So hope you can see it a little bit better. passes by us. If you're new to the broadcast, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to give us a like if you like what you see. We are live from Las Vegas Reid International Airport. No longer McCarran. It was renamed for the late Senator Harry Reid. So it's now Reid International Airport. As we see the new version of the A320 from Spirit, it's got that raccoon outline on the windows to the flight deck. Really sharp. Now it looks like they've started going on the rivals, some of their rivals from the west. I just peeked and saw this. Let's see if we can catch it. So based on the winds, yesterday this is what they were doing. I can't pan all the way over the angle because I thought they were going to stick with the west, but some of the western arrivals from the west, so from Hawaii, California, up on the Pacific Northwest, and even Canada, some of them, they were, because of the winds yesterday, they were all sending them, majority of them were on the ones, and then the east arrivals had to deal with the crosswinds yesterday. And the crosswinds yesterday were peaked out at okay, so yeah, I will speak to that in just a second. But the arrivals were peaked out and had to deal with crosswinds if they were coming from the east. So the west had it easy because they had the direct headwind west arrivals. But the Janet flight. Okay, so the Janet flights are typically in the afternoon. So unfortunately, we will miss out on them. I apologize, infidel firemen. Uh, so I was able to catch him, but I should have responded with what Janet flights? I don't know anything about a Janet flight because they don't exist. They, the Air Force or the Department of Defense doesn't even acknowledge them. But what we're talking about, if you're tuning in, is the Janet flights are, I don't know if you want to call them military contractors or contractors in general or just personnel, but they supposedly work at Area 51, but nobody will confirm that. At least that's what I've heard. So they're 73600s. I do have video of it from yesterday, Infidel Firemen. So I'm going to put that hopefully tomorrow on the page. And I'm going to do the long version of all the plane spotting, and then I'm coming up with what's called PIPS clips that are just little 60-second arrivals. So if you like a specific airplane, you can catch that, but it'll keep you up to date, and I'll do them every hour. But yeah, I had plenty. I had 4 of them I saw, but I can't confirm or deny that. So yeah, exactly. They don't exist, but they do fly. If you see them, they do fly. So you're exactly right. But they tend to be early in the morning because they'll commute out there, and then they'll come back in the afternoon, which is why I caught them, because I was here around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So just a little fun fact for you. But I will post that video up probably tomorrow of of the Janet flights. It's cool because beyond they don't exist is the fact that they are 737-600s, which you rarely see ever. I mean, WestJet, I don't know if they even still fly them anymore, but they're they're like one of the few left flying on a regular basis that you'll see, which is cool. We are live from Las Vegas, Reid International. Thanks for joining us. It is Pip's Planespotting Live on location in Las Vegas. And Askir, since you were tuning in on Tuesday, let me know how this stream is, because today I'm using my 5G phone as a personal hotspot. So I wanted to see if it was any better or if it was about the same, because my other hotspot is 4G LTE. And anybody else who was watching on Tuesday from Phoenix, let me know how it was, see if there's any difference. So, but in the meantime, we are broadcasting live, and it's awesome to have you with us. Thanks for the like. Appreciate that. That very well could be. So, and I, I also think it's just pure capacity of pure capacity of all the people here. I tried my other hotspot today, and it was super slow on getting through to YouTube. So my other one I had to go with just to get on the air. So it's a work in progress, and I apologize, but it's working pretty good, and we'll get there. Thanks, by the way, for those who donated via PayPal. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And if you'd like to donate to the stream so we can go to more places and entertain you even more and inform, you are welcome to do so. Just go to PayPal and search Pip Hastings or 23 Right Productions. Inbound in the next 10 minutes. Looks like we've got Moxie 100, a Breeze 2300, which brings up an interesting question about how H Airline got the call signs. And I know this one particularly for Moxie, or Breeze, that is. Originally, David Neilman, the founder of Breeze, he originally was going to call the airline Moxie. Well, Marriott has a group of hotels called Moxie. So there was already a copyright on them. So long after the airline was already in process, they had to change the call sign. They had to change the name, but the call sign was already registered as MXY. So when you look on Flight Radar, Flight Aware, for any Breeze flight, it says MXY. So it's Moxie, like Moxie 116 when you hear ATC uses it, and that's their call sign. But in reality, the airline's called Breeze. So just a little fun fact for you. We are approaching 11:30. 11:30 in the afternoon, or in morning, excuse me, a Pacific time here in Las Vegas. Thanks so much for joining us and watching. We are live from Las Vegas International, Reid International Airport, and just give you an update of where we stand. You've got that Moxie inbound, and then Breeze has one more flight going cross country today, and we'll see that probably before the show ends. Let's see if there's anything of interest to you guys, because I know there is to me. So we got 116, Moxie 116 inbound from Richmond. And they are still doing the arrivals from the west. And then also Moxie 206 from Akron, Canton. So I'm going to spin west here real quick, or southwest if I can. So excuse me for that. But you still, even the winds are very light today. They're still doing 2 runway arrivals, which is actually really good. Typically only do 1 at a time. So that's pretty nice. Bet you that's a Spirit from probably most likely Los Angeles. Those are like $9 flights, or San Diego $20 flights. My friend last night said that they paid $20 one way for Las Vegas to San Diego on Spirit. So I guess you get what you pay for. But that's pretty cheap. And see, we've got 2324 Palm Springs to Las Vegas. That's a quick one right there, inbound. That one right there. 2326. Some people who may not be aware, Las Vegas is about 300 miles from Los Angeles, so it's really not that far. But it's a quick flight if you can catch it, like from Long Beach or even Santa Ana. LAX is a little bigger and there's a little more to traverse, but overall, that's a pretty quick flight for Southwest too. So pan back left here. So we're looking southwest. And as we turn the camera, we're looking at terminals 1 and 2 for Southwest, Allegiant, Spirit, as we said. Also Burbank. Yep, you're exactly right. Quick flight from Burbank. Plus, you don't have to deal with the traffic when you go to the other side of the valley in Los Angeles. And this is Terminal 3 and Terminal 4. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, give us a like, say hello. That's part of half fun, is having good aviation conversation. I've thrown around the idea of starting a website called Pippin the Pilot, where we'll have weekly columns from a pilot and news and things like that. And so I've been talking to some people about that, about starting a website, and then there'd also be a link to the live stream here too. But as we're zooming in, you can see that Aero Mexico 737-800 from Mexico City in the distance there, and I thought that was kind of cool. There you can see United, and in the background, you've got Air Canada Rouge, Frontier. There you see Delta in the corner. On the other side, and thanks for the like, appreciate it. And if you do like this stream and want to continue to support it, we take donations via PayPal. Just search Pip Hastings or 23 Right Productions. You can donate $1, $5, $10 million, whatever you want. But the other planes we don't necessarily see, and it's right behind there, behind that ramp tower there. American's on the other side as well. So American has a big presence. Yeah, I would agree with that. They absolutely have. I think that's why there's a lot less manufacturing like different designs, because everybody's still waiting on Boeing to do like a midsize, right? Like a 797 to replace that was supposed to be a prototype for like the 757, 767 takeover. But now everybody's got like a Dreamliner for the mid range. And so you have either the A350, the A330, the 777, and the Dreamliner. And then for your single aisle market, it's either a 737 or an A320. However, remember, so American, to your point, Eskier, American in about 2 years ago, or within the last 2 years, they placed a big order for some A321 XLRs, and those are going to be still single aisle, bigger. You're going to have the bigger engines so they can go over the ocean, especially from the East Coast. And SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, already has it, and they've been doing some of them from Copenhagen to Dulles, I want to say. So on the 321. So I believe this is our Moxie 116 from Richmond on an A220-300. Beautiful airplane. There's no question it's a good paint design for sure. Well, it's a really good design. So to that point of parity and like lack of parity is there's a lot of lot less models. All right, so question from Askir. Have you ever done an Etops flight? Are they hard to plan? Does a lot of thought go into planning the routes? Short answer, no, I have not. I've only worked domestically so far. That is one thing I have not had a chance to do that I want to. So great question. But I, to answer your question, yes, there is a lot that goes into planning them and making them work. So not only when it comes to the routing, because based on winds and clearances that countries will let you fly in their airspace, then you have to figure out, because when you use their airspace, they charge you. So like even as basic as Canada, like if you use Canadian airspace, they charge you, and vice versa in the United States if you're not US. So each country has different rules as far as aviation rules, as far as also costs for using their airspace, and it varies a lot. So if you become a dispatcher doing international flights, you do get a premium typically on most of the flights that you plan. There's a premium like in the contracts because there's a lot more work that comes with it. So that's an excellent question, actually. And I may have to do a video or see if one dispatcher would be willing to do an Etops interview and flight. That would be pretty cool. Of course, you have a lot of private jet traffic here at Las Vegas Reid because of the casinos. Ooh, we got an Embraer 135 Jet Suite X making an appearance. This one is from Dallas. Jet Suite X, the kind of the luxury single aisle airline, but they fly on the small 135s and 140s. So basically, it's single aisle, larger seats, snacks, and I think some flights are like 100, 125. No, I think you're probably right. It's probably a little bit slower. Probably the best one was, as far as the stream goes, probably the um, Tuesday afternoon one in Phoenix for sure. So we'll keep working on the connection. I don't want to mess with anything right now. We'll just take it slow a little bit, and I think the computer and also the connection's adjusting to the 1080. So I think I'm going to probably get a dedicated hotspot is where we're heading. WestJet 737 700 coming in from Calgary. Yep, Las Vegas is surrounded by mountains. Absolutely. So, in fact, we'll point right now we're facing east southeast, but they are surrounded by mountains for sure. And if you look to the east, the employee parking lot. Obviously, I'm not an employee, so I didn't want to get in trouble. But you can see if you're on there, there's snow and the mountains in California. Inbound 737 800 Southwest headed to terminal, most likely terminal 1, inbound from Denver. Is United 737 900 series. Our first JetBlue making an appearance. So you're mentioning this gear about the mountains. So if we pan to over, I'm going to pan a little bit over to the south here, which is where I came up from, Phoenix. Phoenix to Las Vegas is an extremely boring drive, folks. 300 miles, and most of it is wilderness desert. So just a heads up. Yeah, so if we look west towards the valley, that is over Henderson, so southwest of Las Vegas. And then beyond that is right there, I think right there in that general vicinity. If you go on the other side of the mountains, you'll run into Hoover Dam. So a lot of people don't realize that Hoover Dam is just on the other side of the mountain. So it's 30-minute drive from Las Vegas, which is really cool. So when you come to Las Vegas, you can always do the casino, but then you can do the outdoor stuff and go see one of the greatest construction projects ever and do the Hoover Dam. Another thing I did mention, and as we're looking towards the south, they've already talked about building an airport, new commercial airport, because this is bursting at the seams. So if you've been through a security line in Las Vegas, you'll know, which means if you're turning into the broadcast and would like to travel to Las Vegas sometime, if you're going to fly, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to fly and to get through security, because the lines can be long at times. They were typically, so I've been to probably 50 airports. Orlando comes to mind as having really long security lines. Las Vegas is another one. So, but they're looking at building an airport there in the South Valley, but that's probably another 10 to 15 years away, or 10 years at most. Tuning in, welcome in. I am Pip, broadcasting live on a remote location from Las Vegas, and what is turning out to be a pretty nice day. It's a little cool, temperature in the lower 50s. Yeah, in Denver for sure. As gear, that's a massive airport. Temperature in the lower 50s. The winds were much breezier yesterday, so we're getting just a light northeast wind, which Las Vegas is one of the airports where they're okay with a couple degrees tailwind to keep their flow for arrivals onto the 26s. And then today they're doing dual ops. And it's pretty unique. You got me thinking about, I'm going to see if the FAA put out stats for the busiest airports. Let me look here real quick for this past year. Official. Let's see, November. No. Doesn't look quite yet. Preliminary numbers from the individual airports, but I think they look at enplanements. So 2021, I'll give you the latest. So this is from 2021, so not too far. Granted, we were still coming out of COVID, so it's going to be a little bit different. But top 10 airports, busiest airports in the United States. Number 1, Atlanta. Number 2, Dallas-Fort Worth. Number 3, Denver. Number 4, Chicago O'Hare. Number 5, these are for enplanements, by the way. Number 5, Los Angeles. Number 6, Charlotte. Number 7, Orlando. Number 8, Las Vegas, Reid International. Number 9, Phoenix. And number 10, Miami. And I would guess when the 2022 numbers come out, there will be some iteration of those airports swapping spots. We talked about how Denver was like the third busiest in the United States or in the world, but those airports are usually in the top 10, and we'll continue to see that. And I would expect that would probably be about the same. Seattle might sneak in there with they've got a lot of new international flights, and Delta is making a hub out of Seattle. But overall, that's what we had from 2021. If you're just tuning in, thanks. Welcome in. We'd love to have you subscribe, because subscribing is the best way for me to communicate with you guys and let you know where I'm going to be next. So I'm headed back home to Salt Lake, I think later this evening. And then we'll probably be back on the air on Sunday, I think, Sunday afternoon sometime, but not quite sure what time, or maybe we'll do the evening time. But thanks for the likes and the subscriptions. I usually will put out a video the night before, about what time we'll be on. So glad that you could join us for the broadcast. And if you know somebody who loves plane spotting and live plane spotting, I'm doing all the work for you. All you got to do is sit back and enjoy. So let them know, share the link. You're welcome to, and you're welcome to ask questions. That's what we do here, ask questions. So that's how we get answers. Like the time I wanted to ask a girl out, but I was afraid to. And so I asked her out and she said yes. So then I didn't have to worry about it anymore because I got my answer. And then there was the other 9 girls who said no. Southwest 737 800. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, not the last time, but the first time, I have a aviation professional background. I was a flight dispatcher for 4 years. Right now I'm taking a break and focusing on other opportunities and getting ready for MBA school as of now. However, that could change. But I worked at both a regional and a mainline airline for 4 years as a flight dispatcher. And a dispatcher is basically a 50-50 partner with a captain on all aspects of the flight, as far as the pre-flight, the actual flight, and post-flight. So it's a pretty cool career. Broadcasting in 1080p, making sure we go slow so we give you a pretty good connection. And that's something we're going to work on. But if you'd like to donate to the channel, we can do so currently through PayPal. All you need, donate 99 cents if you'd like. If you want to donate more, we welcome that, but certainly not required. But in the meantime, enjoy the good broadcast right here. And we got another Air Canada Rouge, it looks like, from good old Toronto on an A321. And I love going on. See, and that's the other thing. I would love support because that gives me the chance to go to new airports and surprise you guys and share new things about each different airport so that you get a better understanding. And you get a better feel for each airport. And so if when you come, that you're a little more familiar with the surroundings. So we're looking off to the west now at terminals 3 and 4. If you've never been to Vegas, the airport is right, and the other guys will attest to this. The airport is right by the strip, so you're 15 minutes away from any hotel. If I was in the employee parking garage, which faces more east, you would be able to see the strip better. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of sad about, but facing the arrivals right now. So now we're looking east. You can see a couple of casinos in the background. But again, like I said, the east, the strip is going to be more as we pass that pillar. So yeah. Next time when I'm here, I will do more easterly if I can. Or I may go down to that parking lot. The challenge was I needed a bigger ladder. Top of the hour, Pip, and his Planespotting Live. I am Pip, and welcoming you in. And I've got some arrivals for you inbound from the west, Charlotte. American Airlines 624 will turn left, and we'll scan. Then we've got Delta 2071 from Salt Lake City, and behind them, Southwest 1423. Also, if you have a question you want to ask in private, you can search Instagram, and my Instagram page is on my page for YouTube. So reach out that way if you'd like, or have any suggestions or airports that you'd like me to go to. There's that A321 inbound from Charlotte. Wasting no time as we turn back to the west for our next arrival from Salt Lake City on Delta 2071. I did. Yeah, that is exactly right. That is a true trivia statement. I did make an appearance on Swain Martin's YouTube channel as a flight dispatcher. Thank you for bringing that up. I hope I had lost a few pounds by then. I put on some weight from sitting 10 hours a day. But yeah, Swain Martin, his video in dispatching, I do make an appearance on that and kind of explain a little bit about in his video about dispatchers. So he's a first officer at United now. If you subscribe to his channel, and is based in Newark and does the 767 and 757, which is pretty cool, I'd say. Speaking of fun trivia, since we are viewing a 737 from Southwest, most people may not know this, but Southwest, for employees, full-time employees, I believe, they have a ridiculously good 401k match. It's about 9%. So just a heads up, if Southwest's a good company to work for, regardless, but that's a nice little perk that kind of is industry leading. I can't think of another airline that does a 9% match. On the air for just over another hour. Pip broadcasting live from Las Vegas International Airport. So we're looking west, or excuse me, southeast there. You can see one of the ramp towers. And checking out our arrivals for the next half hour. We've got Southwest 478 inbound from Phoenix, 737-800. American 497 on an A321neo from Dallas. Allegiant 3225 from Provo, Utah. And in the next 20 minutes, another Southwest 556 from Bewee, that's Baltimore on the East Coast, on a 737 MAX 8. They might send the Vivo Aerobus on the A321neo our way. It's supposed to arrive in 10 minutes, or they may send them on the west arrival. We will see what happens. I think we're going to hit, ladies and germs, we're going to hit a new viewership record today, which is great. Love to see that and the growth of the channel. And if you're new here, we are pleased to have you and would invite you to subscribe. It does not cost anything to subscribe, and you can join the chat for free. So you can see WestJet over there and the Air Canada Rouge. So you got all the Canadians together, eh? We are in Las Vegas on location. I mean, I'm not going to toot my horn too much, but PlaneVids does a pretty good job rotating between JFK and Boston. But overall, you know, I try my best to give you variety, and this is what you'll get. I'm still waiting for it to be nicer weather, but to me, good weather is about 60 degrees. So we're almost there in Las Vegas because we're in the lower 50s right now. Something I noticed, side fact, Las Vegas, here in Las Vegas, they do all sorts of interesting things here in Vegas. And one of them that I saw yesterday, the Uber's been using the driverless cars. So they have driverless taxis I was watching, and it's very interesting. They have no drivers. Here's that A321neo from Dallas, looking sharp. American. Oh, this is our first appearance. I was looking for him for an Alaska Airlines flight. That just arrived from Portland and is headed over to Terminal 4 as we're looking at Southwest's Terminal 1. And we'll slide here and zoom out to the left to catch Aeromexico taxiing out on their 737. Headed back to Mexico City. And as we pan just to the left, Allegiant A320 inbound from Minot, South Dakota. That's right. No, Minot, North Dakota, that is. There's no Minot, South Dakota. It's like another Allegiant, back to back. Allegiant runs exclusively an Airbus fleet, mostly now A320s. They have a partnership that I think is going to start giving them flights to Mexico soon. They partnered with Viva Aerobus. Dreamliner 787-9, we saw this in Phoenix, but Philadelphia, they fly the Dreamliner out here to the desert Southwest, and they'll be heading back to Philadelphia here on this 787-9. So please, you could join me today. It is Pip broadcasting live. Yeah, they did buy a few of the Maxes. You are correct. So right now they're still running the Airbus fleet, but yeah, they bought them some of the Maxes, which no, I don't get. But yeah, Asker, you're absolutely right. For those just tuning in on their lunch hour or their dinner hour, if you're across the pond, glad you could join us. We are in Las Vegas at Las Vegas Reid International Airport on location. Headed back to Salt Lake City tonight, my base, but thought I'd share with you some plane spotting on the road. Giving you a little background on Las Vegas if you don't know too much about it. Largest city in Nevada. course, home to all the casinos, all the fun. But the airport itself is one of the fastest growing in the nation. Over 50 million passengers is expected to be the final number for 2022. They have a host of international carriers, both from North America and across both oceans. Korean Air from Korea, and then from Europe, they've got Edelweiss. Condor runs seasonal flights as well. Also, British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, KLM. And then in Mexico, they have Viva Aerobus, Aeromexico, and Volaris fly in here. In Canada, it's Swoop. It is Canada Jet Lines, which actually starts this evening. It's Air Canada. It's Air Canada Rouge, WestJet. So there's a whole bunch. And then your American standby carriers of United, Frontier, Allegiant, Southwest, Delta, American, Alaska, and Hawaiian. Hawaiian even flies in here. Got a string of arrivals headed in, including Southwest 556, that inbound MAX. We've got an Embraer Legacy 500, Moxie 206 from Akron, Canton. And they are sending us Viva Aerobus flight on an A321neo from Monterrey, Mexico, along with United 353 from Denver on a 737-900. Spirit A320neo, flight 1716, and WestJet 1116 from Toronto to Las Vegas on the east arrivals onto runway 26 left, which is facing the west. So we'll keep our vision focused in on that. Make sure to subscribe so that you're in the loop when you'll find out when the next time we will be broadcasting, where from and what time, so you can join us. And if you have any questions, feel free to join the chat. There you see the air traffic control tower. As I mentioned when we started the broadcast, it is probably one of the top 5 tallest towers in the United States. In fact, now I'm going to have to look that up. So in just a moment, I'll give you the answer. Meanwhile, we've got that Embraer Legacy you see in the distance on final. All right, so it is number 3, the third tallest tower in America is Harry Reid International Airport. Number 1 is Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson at 398 feet. Number 2 is Charlotte's new tower at 370 feet. Number 3 is Harry Reid at 352 feet. Number 4 is Indianapolis. Number 5 is Orlando at 345 feet. And rounding out the top 10 is Memphis, George Bush Intercontinental in Houston, Miami, Salt Lake, and Denver. A little trivia for you. Here's Moxie 206, Breeze Flight 206 from Akron Canton on the A220 300 in its signature blue color scheme. Pretty sharp plane. Our next arrival from the west should be just peering into the picture shortly. And here is that Aerobus. Viva Aerobus. I like to say it with the accent. In from Monterrey, Mexico. This is the airline partner that Allegiant has now for the expansion of flights to Mexico and code sharing. Pretty cool. That's a new one we haven't seen before on the Pips Planespotting live broadcast is Viva Aerobus. Thanks for the like and thanks for joining in and the subscription. It means a lot to us. And we'll be on the air for about another half hour before we get out of here for the afternoon and head back to Salt Lake City. Make sure to subscribe so you know when where we'll be next. Spirit Airlines A320. Going by breeze. Oh, look at this. We've got Valeris in from Mexico City. Valeris, another Mexican airline on the A320 old version. Staying busy here with these arrivals. WestJet in from Toronto on the 700, 737 at 700. They keep coming fast and furious. Thanks so much for tuning in. Pip's Planespotting Live. Live. And I've been keeping track of the connection. I know it's a little fuzzy at times, stuttery. So we're working on that. If you'd like to donate, part of it is just cost to pay for the upgrade in internet. You can donate to the program and channel. Just search PayPal Pip Hastings, PIPHASTINGS, or 23 right, so 23R Productions, just like a runway, 23R Productions, and you can donate and help us improve the quality and get some great continued broadcasting on the air. Thanks for the like, the support, and the new friendships I've made. It's a lot of fun. Frontier A320neo. Ooh, this one's a treat, folks. The old Bombardier Global Express 6000. Looks like a lot like a CRJ, doesn't it? This is the private jet version that competes with like the Gulfstream, the G5, and the G6, a larger model. So pretty cool. High rollers always come into Vegas, and you guys know that. That's cool seeing this. Global Express from Bombardier. Look out west. We got arrival after arrival after arrival. Staying busy. All right, guys, if you humor me, it looks like the stream is starting to waver. So what I'm going to do here is stop and restart if you will humor me for a second to see if I can restart it, get a better connection for you. So if you'll allow me, give me just a minute to restart. I will have to start a new stream. So just subscribe to my page and you'll see it pop up. New stream starts now. So give me just a minute. We're going to try and make this a strong last half hour. So stand by and be back with you in just a few minutes.